Hello and welcome back to my channel. I've just tried recording this video, but unfortunately the software I'm using to record on my new webcam, yeah, I have a webcam now, decided to not record it because I minimized the recording thing so I don't get distracted by my own face on screen. But yeah, it decided not to record that about 25 minutes worth of footage, so yeah, so now I'm gonna have to record this again. How fun. So this video is going to be me discussing about Scarefest. As you can see, I'm in my Altonville Mine Tours t-shirt. It's my favourite maze after all. I kind of have a bit of favouritism with it because it was the first maze I've ever done at my first year of Scarefest back in 2018. I remember going into it literally shitting myself in the queue line, but then going through after that day I fell in love with mazes, and so I've always really liked Altonville. I feel like it's been the strongest maze over the last couple of years as well, so definitely repping it here. I'm going to be discussing what the lineup has been so far. We're on the 3rd of September at the moment, and we haven't had an announcement for the brand new maze yet, even though last Friday they said it was going to be in the next few days, and it's now been a week, and so therefore they've technically lied to us. I'm going to discuss what we know so far, and then when the new announcement does come out, I'll be hopefully doing a reaction to that, and I'll put that onto the end of this video. So this will be one big video, which will be nice. The announcements that we've had so far are Altonville Mine Tours, which again, very happy to see back. I know it's been there for 7 years. It's technically the longest running maze, apart from the Terror of the Towers franchise. I believe Terror of the Towers, what lies within, was there for 9 years. So Altonville's very close to that, but yeah, I'm happy to see it back. I feel like it is a really strong maze. It would be nice to see a few little changes, but honestly, I'm just happy to get back into those mines. The next announcement that we got was the Attic Terror of the Towers. I was expecting this one to come back again with Terror of the Towers that lies within. That was there for 9 years. So I'm expecting the Attic to be there for just the same amount of time. I'm hoping this year we can get a bit of a reroute, a big refresh, because I feel like over the past couple of years it's been becoming a little bit stale. Like, I've been able to anticipate what's coming in the maze, because I feel like because it's a more linear maze with a linear storyline, it's easier to know what's coming next. While with a maze like Altonville, you get quite lost and disorientated, so you can't really tell where you are. I'd be happy to see a bit more of a refresh to the maze, maybe like do it back to front, or put some new rooms in there, or give it a bit of a different layout. But yeah, I'm still happy to see it back. It is a good maze, but I feel like it does need a bit of a refresh for this year. Then the final maze on the announcements was, I feel like, the one that I was the most disappointed with, which was Darkest Depths returning. I feel like this maze kind of had reached the end of its lifespan. It's been there for 3 years in 2 locations. I feel like over the past couple of years it's been the least successful as well. They haven't really had enough actors in there, and of course with it being a family maze, it's already kind of got that detriment of it not being as scary. Honestly, if it was between Darkest Depths and Freak Show Toxic Junkyard coming back, I would have preferred Freak Show Toxic Junkyard. I feel that maze was much better. It's actually been my second favourite maze from last year, so it would have been nice to have seen it back compared to Darkest Depths, but to be honest, I would have just preferred a classic maze returning at that point in the lineup. Because that actually gets me on to a point of, this year is meant to be the 15th anniversary of Scarefest, and at the moment it doesn't really feel like a 15th anniversary, you know. Obviously we haven't heard what the final announcement's going to be, so it could be something that really relates to the 15th anniversary, but at the moment the lineup is just the same thing that we've had over the past couple of years, well, the past 3 years actually, with no real change. And so I can see why a lot of people are annoyed, a lot of people are pissed off, I've seen on Twitter, and I understand it, because it is just a lot of the same stuff, and I feel like Towers have almost like advertised this as 15 years, probably like to copy from Thorpe last year with their 20 years. They're not actually really doing anything to make it a big 15-year celebration. It is very disappointing. It's such a shame as well, because this year is actually my 5 years of being a scare enthusiast, of going to scare events, of going to Scarefest, and so it's such a shame that one of my favourite scare events and one of my favourite parks is kind of disappointing me so much. Again, very happy to see Altonville back, but even then the lineup's just not really that fresh. So I've got a few thoughts on what the new maze could be, a couple of ideas. So the first idea, I think I mentioned in my last vlog, which was to do with possibly the IPF being involved. So this was a roaming team from last year. They all wore like long black coats. It looks similar to the Phalanx, but I don't think they were the Phalanx. They look very similar though in their outfits. And they were kind of transporting this intergalactic prisoner in like an orange jumpsuit and almost like a Hannibal Lecter kind of mask. So what I thought they could be doing with this is, they seem to be like an intergalactic police force. So what I thought they could be doing is imprisoning characters from past mazes. So maybe they've got like the Hamble twins from the Boiler House in like a Boiler House themed room, and they could have the Living Dummy and Jack Knife and the Killer Gorilla from Carnival of Screams in a Carnival of Screams themed room, and same with the Sanctuary. They could have Dr. Kelman and a few nurses and patients in a Sanctuary themed room, and etc. and etc. And they could do it for a load of mazes, you know, from across the years, you know, from recent ones in recent years to really classic ones, like, you know, I feel like the big three, like Boiler House, Carnival of Screams and Sanctuary, you know, I feel that's kind of like the golden years of the event. I feel like if they could do that, it would tie it in relatively well. I mean, I feel like them doing a mashup maze is kind of copying Thorpe anyway with trailers. If they could make this a maze that really kind of interweaves the old maze as well, then yeah, I feel like go for it, I guess. I mean, it's the best that we're probably going to get for the anniversary. And I'm hoping that if they do a mashup maze as well, unlike trailers where they kind of didn't directly reference the mazes, like for the Big Top they used Bozo's Play Zone, for the Asylum they used Beyond the Chair, for Seven they used Seven Dolls, for Vulcan Peak they used Hoodoo Voodoo. I'm hoping that if they do reference the mazes at this year's Towers Scarefest event, they actually directly reference the mazes. So they're going to use the Sanctuary, they call it the Sanctuary. They're going to use Boiler House, call it the Boiler House. You know, actually call them the Hamble twins and stuff like that, and use those characters and those IPs properly, because, you know, then that means it's paying a proper tribute to them. Another idea that I had was back at when the event was called the Halloween Spooktacular, so I think that was between 2002 and 2006, before it was properly called Scarefest. One of the years of that event, they couldn't do Terror of the Towers. I think it's because of budget issues, and so instead they put a maze into the hotels called Room 13, which was a sort of like you went through different rooms of this hotel. You had like a bellboy who kind of guided you through. It was a mashup maze, had I think it had some clowns in it, some ghosts, ghouls, stuff like that. I think it used a lot of the bits of the sets and props from Terror of the Towers as well. There is actually a walkthrough of it online. I think it's on Scarecam or Scaretour on their YouTube channel. If you go way back to the early days of their channel, you can find a walkthrough of Room 13, and it looked pretty good. But I can imagine them doing that now, but actually directly referencing past mazes. So have characters from the Boiler House, have characters from Carnival of Screams, from the Sanctuary, have characters from loads of different mazes as you go through this kind of weird hotel. And maybe instead of calling it Room 13, you could call it Room 15, because it's the 15th anniversary of Scarefest. So yeah, they're my two kind of ideas. It does look like this is going to be in the Project 42 building. I mean, there's been a lot of construction seen there, so that seems like the most likely. In fact, in a Discord chat, I think it was the Virtual Towers Online Discord chat, someone was actually at Towers the other day, and they got a photo of a face on one of the TV screens, so it looks like they're going to be having a pre-show on there. It looked like a really creepy face as well, so that's good. So it's looking like it's in that building. Other places where it could be, in the first teaser that we saw at the start of the year of that coffin, that looked like it was in the Towers, so maybe it could be in the Towers, or maybe that was just like a generic teaser that they were doing for something new coming. Another option that I've always thought would be good is the Excite building. So that is the arcade just at the end of Oblivion's exit. I feel like that would be a great place to use. It's a large space. They've been known to use arcades in the past for mazes, like with the Games Bunker for Carnival of Screams. I feel like Excite's a really good place to use, you know, really large space, could be perfect for a scare maze. That's really all my speculation at the moment. We're just going to have to wait and see with what this new maze is going to be, if they ever release an announcement. They have announced a couple of other things, not officially on social media channels, but on their website. They've announced some of the family attractions coming back. So I think they've got the Alton Ancestors, Gardens Light Walk, the shows in CBeebies Land. Interesting enough, Trick or Treat Town hasn't been confirmed, so maybe that won't be coming back this year. I mean, I would be happy to see it come back at a cheaper price tag, but yeah, you know, I would be happy to see it back, I guess. Probably wouldn't do it as much this year, but yeah, you know, hopefully it comes back, but so far there's been no announcement for it. Overall, my kind of reaction to what's been announced so far is that it is a bit of a shame. I mean, at the moment, genuinely, Thorpe Park Fright Nights is actually looking better, unfortunately, which is, again, it is a real shame for this event, because I feel like for 15 years, a lot of people were expecting something classic to come back, and Towers have always been very stubborn on this idea of bringing a classic maze back. Whenever I've been to the Attraction Source scare mazing events, Their reasoning has always been that classic fans of the maze won't think it's as good as the original. Members of the general public, they won't really understand that it's meant to be a returning maze coming back. And my kind of rebuttal to that is that I feel like classic fans of the maze will just be happy to see it back. And the general public just won't really give a shit, to be honest. I don't really think they care about whether it's a classic maze or not. They just want a good scare. So I feel like they'd be happy if it is a returning maze or not. And then for people like me who never got to go through the maze, I mean, the first time I ever went to Towers was in 2011, and it was during Scarefest. And I remember standing in the Oblivion queue line and seeing the black hole tent with Carnival of Screams at one end, Boiler House at the other, and I really wished I could go through the mazes then, but I was too scared to go through at that point, and also I was 11, so I technically wasn't old enough. But then I went the next year at Scarefest again, and I remember going through the entrance and seeing these posters which had like a grayscale image of the conservatories, and that was for the Sanctuary. And I remember seeing some roaming actors of doctors and nurses from the Sanctuary, and I remember seeing the clown breakouts from Carnival of Screams. And again, I could have gone through that year because I would have been old enough, but again, I was just too scared at that point. It's like, I wish I could have like a second chance to go through those mazes. And I think it's just a shame that they don't bring them back, because I feel like it's like what everyone wants, but Towers are just deciding, nope, not going to bring them back. And I think especially with the announcements that we've had in the lineup so far this year, it's really pissed a lot of people off. And so it would have been good to bring back a maze fully. You know, imagine how much publicity they could have got for themselves just for bringing a maze back. It's like something that Thorpe hasn't even done. You know, they've done trailers, but they've never fully officially brought a classic maze back. So yeah, I really don't feel like Towers have anything to lose at this point. But it is really making me much more excited for Fright Nights. I mean, we've got 9 attractions altogether, 3 new attractions. We've got Death's Doors, which I think looks amazing. I can't wait to film through there. It's going to be so cool, just like, it's basically like an adult version of Trick or Treat Town. So I think that's going to be really cool. We've got the Terminal, which I'm kind of in the middle on. It's a new thing. It's the scare experience that Thorpe were talking about, which is going to be an auditory experience. I think it could be hit or miss. If it works, I think it could go down really well. If not, I don't think it's going to last at the park long, and I think it will be something that they tried but might not work. And then there's survival games, which from the trailer I wasn't really too impressed by, but from the description I'm actually really excited for. It basically seems like Thorpe are doing their own version of Subspecies. It's going to be a free roam maze. It seems like you're going to be on your own for a lot of it. Apparently it's going to have multiple genres of horror, which really excites me. And apparently it's the biggest investment that Thorpe have ever made. So that really makes me excited. While for Towers, at the moment at least, there's nothing really exciting. And they've really only got one big announcement left. And I don't know whether that announcement's going to be able to live up to it. It is kind of disappointing, and it's really a big shame, but I'm hoping Towers can prove me wrong. Another thing that's kind of annoying me about Towers at the moment, I'm sorry there's so much to rant about, but they're giving me so much rant material, is that with their announcements, they kind of came out of the blue, which means unfortunately I didn't get to do a reaction to them. Literally, I just went onto our Discord chat one day and then saw Altonville's been revealed, and it's like I couldn't do a reaction to it then because I would have already known what it was. It's such a shame as well because they are such good trailers. I believe they were done by Parkspill, famous theme park content creator, you probably know him. I really love the work that he's done. I mean, one positive thing I can say about the event is that those trailers look amazing for it. I mean, for Altonville in particular, I think that's the best one that they did. I think that's the best marketing that maze has ever had. I can't fault them on that. So it's such a shame that I couldn't do reactions to them, but what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and keep blind to when the new announcement comes out, and try and get as much of a raw reaction as possible, and then I'll probably add that onto the end of this video. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say for this video. Overall, disappointed with Scarefest. It is really a shame. It is kind of upsetting, to be honest, because it is an event I love. Hoping the final announcement can give me a little bit of excitement. The next part of this video that you'll see is my reaction to the new maze.
3 days later.
Right, okay, so it is now the 6th of September, 3 days later after I recorded the first part of this video, and I've just been informed that something has been posted onto Twitter by a very helpful friend from the Virtual Towers Online Discord, Haunted Hollow Joe. Thanks, Joe, for letting me know about this. I asked him to let me know when there's any updates so I can stay as blind to this as possible. The only thing that I've seen is I saw the Twitter notification, it said The Invasion. so I'm guessing that's what the new attraction's going to be called. It sounds like something Scarefesty. I think it said like the Invasion new for 2022 or something. That's all I've seen, so I'm going to this pretty blind. So yeah, I'm just going to go onto Twitter now and see if I can react to this trailer, I guess, if we're getting a trailer for it. Okay, so I'm just going on to Alton Towers' Twitter page now. Oh, here we go. Right, let's just pause that for a second. So, not the Invasion. I read it wrong, but that's good because it means that it was a little bit of a surprise. This is called The Invitation. Very interesting name. Brand new for 2022, a horrifyingly unique, immersive scare attraction never seen at Scarefest before. Take your seat for the ultimate heart-racing, palm-sweating, spine-tingling experience. That's making me think that it's going to be one of these audio ones like Thorpe's doing. I really hope it's not. It says it's immersive though, so that's good, but I'm really hoping it's not an audio scare attraction, but we'll just have to see. So yeah, let's watch the Invitation trailer. Okay, it's looking quite spooky. Oh yeah, it's going to be audio, isn't it? He's already wearing headphones. Oh, well, it'd be nice if Twitter could actually load the video properly. What I'm getting from this so far is it's going to be an audio experience, so yeah, let's keep watching then. If it'll play, it's not going to play, is it? God damn, this is the reactions you get, folks, just my internet being awful. Okay, let's try this again and see if it's actually going to work this time now that I've rebooted my internet. I live in Crewe, we have bad internet here, just have to accept it, but it's looking like it's going to be an auditory attraction. I'll let you know my thoughts on that in a minute, but let's try and watch the trailer again. Right. I mean, I'm liking the vibes of it, I'll give you that. I'll read that in a second. So, let's have a look. I like the location they're using as well. Like they're using like the top bits of the towers in a way. (1827) Lakeside Cemetery. It's gonna be, it's an audio experience, isn't it? Yeah. Let's just see what that little letter said. Hold on. Cemetery invites you to join them for an experience that will live with you for eternity. Okay. It's seeming like it's going to be, yeah, he's wearing headphones. It looks like you're lying down in it. They're saying that it's a specific kind of experience. Yeah. Yeah, so Lakeside Cemetery, The Invitation, 1827. Yeah, I think that this is going to be a scare experience. Give it a like, I guess. But let's see what it says on the website, because the website might be able to give us a little bit more detail. Let's have a look. Here we go. The Lakeside Cemetery invites you to join them for a grave experience that will live with you for eternity. Their friendly funeral director is dying to assist you as you descend into the burial chamber, where you can choose your final resting place. Some caskets have already been filled, but there are others still empty waiting for you. I think it's going to be an auditory experience. It's sounding like it. Like the Terminal from Thorpe. It's sounding like it's going to be one of these Darkfield attractions. I'll just see if they've actually confirmed whether it will be or not anywhere. Because so far we've had no confirmation that it's actually going to be an auditory experience yet. Honestly, my thoughts on that is, it's very hit or miss. It could either really work or it could really not work. The other thing is that it doesn't really seem like it's going to be celebrating the anniversary at all, really. It seems like a completely separate thing, which is very disappointing, you know, because I think we were all hoping for something that would actually celebrate Towers' 15th anniversary properly. So yeah, that is a shame. I'll have a look at some. Let's have a look at some Twitter comments, shall we? And see what they have to say. Let's have a look. Yeah, people confused. I can see that. Here's a tweet from Haunted Hollow Joe again, the guy who kind of warn me about this. So thanks, Joe, again. Yeah, very interested. I'm very worried. I'm very concerned. As I say, if it is one of these dark field attractions, it could really work or it could really not. But I also think, regardless, it doesn't seem to be celebrating the anniversary at all. So yeah, let's have a look. Shame the rest of the lineup so stale. Yeah, I agree. No return to Trick or Treat Town. That still hasn't been confirmed yet. So yeah, going where Toxic Junkyard was, possibly. Seems likely. It could make sense for why they've been moving so much stuff out of the way. Maybe they're going to be putting one of the Darkfield storage containers there. Darkfield are the ones who are doing the terminal at Thorpe Park. It looks like they use storage containers and then theme them inside. And then, you know, that's how they make the auditory experience in there. Yeah, it's not really exciting me, to be honest. I think it's going to be an auditory experience. It's, yeah, it's disappointing. Let's see, there's some quote tweets. Let's see what some of the quote tweets have to say. Sounds interesting, yeah. So it seems like auditory experience. Let's order it, and I should be considering this a new attraction. Needs more info. Yeah, it needs more info about it. I think a confirmation on whether it is an auditory maze. I think we can you know, we can take context clues from the trailer, and I think that suggests that it's going to be one of these auditory experience things. Yeah. Looking forward to this. Good. I'm glad some people are excited. And then, yeah, other people not liking the rest of the lineup. Park Spill, I'm assuming the one who filmed this. Let's give that a like. Yeah, you know, hopefully excited. Looks pretty cool. Okay, I'm glad I'm seeing, you know, a few people, you know, feeling positive about this, but I'm assuming someone was joking about if the audio thing was coming. Need more info. Yeah, seems like another audio experience. But yeah, I'm really not excited, if I'm honest. I feel like I think a lot of good scare attractions that I've found. Oh, Nemesis Subterra building. I don't think it will be in the Subterra building, because if it's like something with this kind of gothic vibe, it doesn't really make sense to be there. I mean, then again, it doesn't really make sense to be like in the Freak Show Toxic Junkyard area, but I guess they could theme that to look a bit more gothic. I really don't see them doing that with the Nemesis Subterra building. The other option is maybe there is another attraction coming that we don't know of, but I doubt it. I doubt that they would have released tickets before announcing that there's another attraction, so unless the other attraction might be free. But yeah, honestly, unfortunately, not really excited for this. We'll have to see how these dark field attractions works. I've never done something like it before. It could work, but I think regardless of all this, we're not getting anything to celebrate the anniversary, unfortunately. Towers seem to have just called it the 15th anniversary, but they're not really actually doing anything properly to celebrate it. They're not bringing back a maze, they're not doing a mashup maze that celebrates past mazes. I mean, unless if this one somehow will, but I doubt it. It really doesn't look like it, so yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, unless we get another announcement, I find it unlikely. I think this is going to be all the attractions we're getting. I think it's going to kind of be disappointing, unfortunately. So yeah, sorry to kind of end it on this downer note, but yeah, you know, hopefully it can prove me wrong. Hopefully this can be a really good event, but at the moment I am more excited for Fright Night. So yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. If there is anything else that is announced before I get this video uploaded, I'll add that on to the end of this, but I think this is the last attraction we're getting. I don't think they're going to be doing anything more. So yeah, the invitation. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to see more thoughts and opinions on this. It doesn't really seem that exciting. I think the one thing I'm mainly excited for is Altonville, to be honest, just to get back in that maze. But yeah, I guess I'll see you next time. Bye.